to clarify again this idea of social knowledge versus logical mathematics, that which must be memorized with that which we really want to own, by talking about wait time. Anybody ever been to a workshop on wait time? Yeah, wait time's important. We should wait longer. Okay, but I want to clarify a little bit. Wait for everything? Wait on all questions? What if it's a social knowledge question? What if it's a rote memory, I've either got it or not? How long do you want to wait on that? Who was the 8th president of the United States? You know what, I'm going to wait, because I went to this workshop and they told me wait time. And so I'm going to wait. Yeah, she's going to Google it. That's better. All right. So you're going to Google, and so if she's Googling it, does that mean it's a piece of information that we can give to her? That's social knowledge. If it's a piece of information that she could get on Google, not something that she really has to understand in order to use, by all means, then we're going to Google it, or I'm going to tell it to you, and then that's social knowledge. By the way, do you know not to ask that social knowledge question in San Angelo, Texas? Anybody from San Angelo? Probably not, because I know where I live. So, have anybody ever been in San Angelo? Do you know why? Do you know why I can't? So I've asked that. In this very same presentation, I was like, hey, 8th president of the United States, and the gal goes, and spits out, I don't even know who it is, and spits out who the 8th president of the United States is. And I was like, I have no idea if that's right. No one has ever answered that question before. What was she doing in her head? No? She is driving through San Angelo because the streets are named by the presidents. She had something to help her memorize, something that must, something must need to be memorized. So the names of the presidents, do we need to tell kids that? Yeah, we need to tell kids that. That is an example of social knowledge, not an example of something we need to own deep down inside. So by all means, drive through San Angelo if you want to. So I don't want to wait on that. I don't want to wait on the 8th president of the United States. What other kinds of questions do I want to wait and do I not want to wait? If a kid doesn't know it, I do need to move on, or I need to allow them to Google it. Because they're not going to be able to sit there and figure it out based on what they know if it is that social knowledge. So let's look at a couple of examples. What is the definition of a parallelogram? If I ask that question in my class, is that a question worth waiting on? Is that social knowledge or is that logico-mathematical knowledge? So I want you to think about that for a second. Don't say that loud. Turn to the person next to you. Have a brief conversation. Do I need to memorize that, or is that something that I can dig down deep and pull out? Go. So I'm not going to ask for a raise of hands, but smile at me if you don't know the definition of parallelogram. And now you're just laughing, so I understand. It's excellent. So if I ask you the definition of a parallelogram, that's something that we decided. Somebody decided to call that four-sided quadrilateral that has opposite sides parallel. We decided to call that thing a parallelogram. And so that's social. If we deem it to be so, if we say, hey, that thing right there that has these characteristics, that's the definition, that's a parallelogram. We're going to call it a parallelogram. If we deem something to be so socially, that's a social knowledge example. That's something that we have to tell kids. So I'm going to tell kids the definition of a parallelogram. Now, once I tell them that definition, now I need to logically construct what that means, and I need to give them lots of examples so that then they can pick out which one's a parallelogram. So am I going to wait on this? Those don't show up very well. Can you see some figures up here a little bit? So if you look at those guys, and now I say to you, which of these are a parallelogram? Do I wait on that? Or is that social knowledge? Or is that logical mathematical knowledge? Why? What's the difference? You're all right. You two go.
Ready
First.
to go. Because I have to apply that knowledge of a parallelogram and compare the objects, choose the one.
Yeah. Lots of Bloom's words just popped out of it. We've got to analyze what's going on in there, right? Higher sort of order thinking. We've got higher order thinking going on in order to apply that definition in a new and unusual way. Or at least one way that maybe kids aren't used to when we first give them the definition of parallelogram. I hope I'm starting to helping to sort out the difference between things that must be memorized and things that I need a lot of experience. So really, in my wonderful world, I would put kids on computers now and allow them to stretch parallelograms all over the place. Stretch a parallelogram that remains a parallelogram the whole time to really get a sense and a feel for that definition. Now I really can feel, man, no matter what I do, those opposite opposite sides stay parallel. Whoa, and now when they see the static thing, they can go, oh yeah, all right, I felt that. That's a way to develop logical mathematical understanding in geometry.